Welcome to our mental health series where we talk everything mental health, from stress, anxiety disorder, depression, and you name it. And these are from questions that a lot of you have asked us in our DM, social media, and even on our app, ExpressMed app. So we decided to put all these questions and concerns together and discuss it with the expert, one who is endowed and well-vested in the area. So stay with me as we go through this series of mental health episodes. And I know that definitely your mental health issue will be addressed, or that of a friend or a family member. So stay with us. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and turn on the notification button so that in subsequent episodes you'll be the first to get to know. All right, so today who do I have here? Gilbert. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Finally, eh?
Yeah.
But chase you watching. Yeah, but it's been a while. How have you been?
I've been here and there. We're surviving in this country.
Yeah. We're good to have you.
Thank you.
So today, a lot of our viewers have been asking about stress issues, mental health. Sometimes the question is, it shows that maybe their understanding is not as perhaps you may know. So we want to discuss mental health and then dive into depression in detail. So would you mind telling us what mental health is generally, for the sake of those who join us for the first time?
So when we talk about mental health, we are basically looking at something which encompasses your psychological well-being, your social well-being, and emotional well-being. Now, it becomes an issue when these areas are being impacted. So you're unable to think well, unable to socialize well, and your emotion is being impaired. So then we say that you are not mentally well. Right. So we have various types of mental health or mental health issues. Right. Which spread from mood disorders, where we have depression. Right. We have suicidal ideation. We have substance use disorder, stress-related disorders. We have anxiety disorders.
So it means that what one might be going through, and in the umbrella body might be mental health, but it might be a specific type of mental health.
Right.
Wow.
Just like any physical condition. Oh, the whole family. What's wrong with you? It could be malaria. It could be diabetes. It could be hypertension. So there are various types of mental health issues.
But today, because mental health is broad, today we want to look at depression. So that in subsequent one we can take the other types. So what is depression and how does it differ from, say, I'm having a bad day?
So give you an example. Yesterday I had a bad day. Being in traffic, I was just stressed out and then sad because I needed to do something and I may be missing out on those situations. So I may have a little bit of sadness. The following day it is gone. But then with depression, it means that something which is constantly there, which can last for days, which can last for weeks, can last for many years. So then we say you are depressed. Right. So you having a bad day, the following day will be fine. Or your boss, fired you, or said some words to you that you're sad, you feel like crying, and just for that day, the following day will be fine. But depression is something which is on the continue. So that's how it's
like series of bad days.
Yeah, you can say series of bad days. So if you are working somewhere and then every day you are on a constant fire and every day you are sad, then we can really say that proper depression. But then once it's less than 24 hours, in my books, I don't think it's depression. Just like you have a regular bad day.
So what are the symptoms of depression that people should watch out for?
Well, so if you have what we call crying spells, every day you're crying, you don't even know why you're crying, right? Things that you previously enjoyed doing, like Sunday, fufupa, I don't say. You isolate yourself from people. There's someone will go to church. After church, you are engaging. what's up? And all those things. Now after church, we don't know where to find you. You just use the back door. You just you want to escape the society, or you are withdrawn from society. So mid mention of extreme form of sadness, loss of appetite, so it is in two ways. It's either you have too much of an appetite or you lose the appetite.
When you have too much appetite, it can be a form of depression. Is it that what if from your childhood, like, hey, Akoyo, did you?
Now all of a sudden, did you? Then there is a problem. You get it. So let's say all of a sudden when give you, we are laughing at him that we will be lottery. So he has stopped eating.
Yeah.
So previously something that he enjoys doing, he's no longer doing it. You see someone, he's growing fat, and you are tempo. Why come out? That and then you know I come out. You know I depressed. You should find out. So you may undereat or overeat, basically. When you talk about sleep, you are oversleeping or undersleeping. So that's a sorry. So these are some of the signs and symptoms of depression. The ones that make this come out is when you attempt suicide or you contemplate suicide. So suicidal ideation is one of the markers of depression.
Severe. So, and I hear a lot of men. Which one? A lot of men contemplate suicide, but a lot of women commit suicide. Which one is it?
So women contemplate suicide, but men commit it.
Once we decide,
so women, they think about it, I want to die, but they won't do it. But the man, once he thinks about it, the idea is that he will end it. So does gender has some correlation with depression? Like, is there a particular gender that is more prone to depression? Well, some school of thoughts will say yes, more females are more prone to depression because females are in tune with their emotions. They feel. We tend to do what we call compartmentalization, right? We had the emotions, we pick it up when we need to use it. So we're able to relegate our emotions to the background. But the way it becomes overwhelming, then it becomes problematic, right? So in my books, I would say more women are prone to depression than men, and of which some literature will back that. So we can say that gender correlation.
Let's go into the types of depression. Are there different types of depression?
We have about we have about 4 types of depression. The first one is a major depression disorder.
Major
depressive disorder. Some people call it a clinical depression. We also have the persistent depressive disorder. We also have the seasonal affective disorder, which is the third one, and then we have the postpartum depression.
Wow.
So
you want to break it down for us?
The
terms no easy, Charlie.
So let's start from the postpartum depression. So right after you give birth, so postpartum after birth. Right after you give birth, there's too much hormones, stress of you giving birth and all that. So it sends some women into a state of depression. Hence postpartum depression. For a very long time becomes like an issue. The seasonal affective disorder is when there's any changes in disorder. I'm sure most of our listeners, once the Harmattan season comes in, you notice that that's a mood nurse is like so that's what we term as seasonal affective disorder. Now, in the countries where it snows, once it starts snowing, because of the change of the lightning system, so they're usually more darker and all this, it affects their mood. So we tend to mirror that mood. So we say seasonal affective disorder. Seasonal affective disorder. So it could be that when the weather is very hot. Because here, when the weather is hot, you can tell. So then we also have the persistent, depressive disorder. So here it means that the depression has lasted over 2 years. Over 2 years, so persistent, right? With the major depressive disorder, we are looking at 2 weeks upwards, right? And there's a criteria that you normally meet, about 5 of them, or 6. So once you meet them, we can diagnose you with clinical depression. So these are just the differences. So with the timeline and then the particular situation.
Wow. So whilst I explain, I'm trying to think on top of my head, which ones am I likely to fall under?
So the predominant one, I would say, is the clinical depression or the major depression.
Okay, so but generally in Ghana, how does finances affect depression?
See, basically, so you are the breadwinner of the house, and here let me just basically talk about the causes of depression. Right. So we can look at it from 3 points of view. So we have the genetic cause or the genital genetic causal factor.
Okay.
And then we have the psychological causal factor.
Okay.
And then we have the environmental causal factor.
Genetic, psychological, and environment.
So you are talking about the biology, the psychology, and the social aspect of depression. So the biology aspect, you're talking about hormones and neurotransmitters. They are not properly placed. They are in excess amount. Like I made mention of the postpartum depression, right? Once it becomes overwhelming, then it tends to send people down to depression line. Now we also have you inherit certain traits from your parents. And so if your parents have lived a very depressive life, it rises on their genes. So then you also they pass it on to you. You get it?
So you can be moody from childhood, like the whole family now they are moody.
There are some people here in Ghana who they are free, from they are moody. So basically, when I used to say that we are depressed, just some also be a moody. So it's something that is in their genes. You get it? The psychology aspect, we are just talking about psychological issues such as low self-esteem, stress, basic. You are not thinking well, all those things. Academic stresses, financial stresses, family-related issues, which are harm. So those are the psychology aspects. Then we have the environment, of which you can also put the family-related issues. So the environment could be loss of job. Right? You having a very stressful boss who will never, encourage you anything. Right? Always condemning you. You are good for nothing and all those things. You get it? So the environment, your marriage isn't working. Right? You are constantly fighting with your wife or your wife's family and blah blah. Your child is sick constantly. All those things.
Or not doing too well in school. It can also
impact the family. Why are you not doing well in school? Or I am not doing well in school. Is it that like my mom or something like that? So there are myriads of them, right? Some people also can argue that there's a spiritual connotation to your spiritual life can lead you to depression. I wouldn't want to delve into that. Maybe for another time.
We can. So maybe we can do the risk factors.
So the risk factors can also stem from the causal factors. Right. So if you're in a toxic environment, a toxic workspace, toxic relationship, those are causal risk factors. But if you are from a family, who have been diagnosed with depression, it's another risk factor. Usually when you go to hospital and you tell them that there's something wrong with you, ask you, does your father have the anxiety or hypertension or diabetes? So they just want to know because it can predispose you to that. So you can pick the risk factors from the biology aspects, the social aspect, the psychological aspect. So if you have low self-esteem or the people you work with, they are always bringing you down. That's a possible risk factor for.
We are just about wrapping up, but if you're still with us, it's on mental health, and we are focusing mainly on depression, and we are highlighting all the key areas in depression. So if you're still with us, do hit on the subscribe button and also turn on the notification bell. You can also drop in your comments or ask more questions, and even after the interview, we'll do well to answer them. How does depression affect one's daily life? I'm depressed. How does it impact our lives?
So depression is such that it brings your energy down. Right. Things you enjoy doing, you can no longer do them. So you can't go to work. You are constantly calling in sick. There's no proper explanation for that. Here in Ghana, we can't put a figure to mental health. So we treasure someone who has malaria. The reason why there's a huge stigma on mental health in Ghana, because we can't say if someone is sick, we want to visit, but everybody say I'm depressed. So that's it. It affects your day-to-day activity. The things that you can do with ease become very difficult for you to do. Even to cook food, to go out and go and get some supplies for yourself Some people are unable to even shower, like take care, proper self-care for them. So it's even your relationship, right? You will not be able to even have that regular conversation you have with your partner, because that regular conversation is even very difficult for you. And once an issue is posed, or you're like, you know what, I don't want to talk about it. Let's just leave it there. So you tend to brush very critical issues aside. Now, if you have a very difficult girlfriend who will let this matter go, you will know how stressed you are, right? So, it affects every aspect of your life. You really want to go to church. You really want to go to work. You really want to think. You get it. Everything affects. So, depression is...
So, you being the expert here, how do we diagnose and treat the depression?
Well, you need someone who's the expert. So, you need to visit a psychologist or a counselor.
Don't worry, when we're done, if you want to talk to him, we'll just leave us a message and we'll do well to connect with you. Equally, you can download the ExpressMed app.
How do we diagnose depression? You can't self-diagnose depression. So you need to visit the specialist, right? You see, psychologists, we have most of them in our hospitals. Usually, some of us, we tend to go to the doctors first, which is fine. Then they refer you to the psychologist to help you. So they do the proper diagnosis and then treat, right? You can experience signs and symptoms of depression, but then don't assume you are depressed. You need to speak to the experts. They tell you how it came about, how it's been maintained, and how to deal with it. And so it's only the specialists that diagnose depression.
Why is there so much stigma, especially in Ghana?
Right. So not just depression, mental health. Because once we say mental health, hey, I don't know about them, and nobody wants to see themselves about them. So you notice that people be like, oh, I don't have any mental health issues. I'm just, mood swing. So the stigma is see, mental health has come a long way, but then it is still struggling. It will take time. I don't know when. Right, so until we change our behavior and how we see mental health as another aspect of well-being or health, I think the stigma is still going to be there.
So there should be more open conversations about it.
We should talk about it every now and then. We talk about it as how there's cholera outbreak. I can tell you that there's more mental health outbreak than cholera. But then people are not able to voice it out. And to tell you, see, post-COVID, that's when we knew that some of us, our resilience level is low. But previously we thought we had that. COVID has exposed us. Small quarantine. So we need to, the awareness should be there. We should be blasting the radio stations about mental health. The podcast, YouTube, everywhere. So that it becomes a thing. It's just like any other physical condition, such as malaria. Because it is treatable. That's the truth. It is treatable.
That's a good one.
It's treatable. Any mental health condition is treatable. It's not a curse. So once we change our attitude towards it, I think we...
And then you want to touch on support system. How can we also support our friends so that we can wrap up?
So, with the men, my friends will tell you, right, Charlie, my son, you're going to food, and you'll be surprised what food can do to you. If you think I'm lying, whenever you go to food runs, you know that once the food comes, people stop crying. Support system, you need to check up on each other. But we should be more open about how we feel. And men do not like to talk about how they feel. The main reason is that we are going to be judged. We get it. So we are going to try as much as possible to create a non-judgmental environment for our peers, right? But once the environment is created, we're all open up. I say, please. And then we should not, try and demean people when they are talking about the mental health. Because that's what causes people to, let me go back to your shells and not talk about it at all. Because the first time I had the opportunity to talk about it, they are judging me. I didn't tell something possible. So we need to create that environment for each other. Men's fellowship is a better avenue for us to provide support system for each other. Various WhatsApp platforms. We can do that, and it's good. The good thing is that at least You can call on a friend to check up on.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, if a friend calls me, like, check out, oh, I say, what's up? I'm calling you. I mean, like, wait. You know,
I mean,
yeah, no homo.
Yeah.
So, but it's a good thing. Men must support men.
Yeah, women must equally support.
Exactly.
We just have to support each other. So you've spoken about support system, seeking help from an expert. You've also spoken about open conversations. What would be your final take on the depression conversation as a message to every viewer out there?
Well, so depression is one of the conditions that cripple our world. It's out there. It's just that it's not being spoken about, right? The truth is that it is treatable.
Yeah.
And it's not a condition that you can self-medicate. No.
Okay.
You need to always speak to the experts.
Okay.
Let them help you how to go about it.
Yeah.
Because no matter what it is, there's always help out there for you. It's not a disease that is going to kill you or is contagious or people should be running away from it. No, we should be able to talk about how we are feeling emotionally, right, and psychologically. And that's the only way we can help eradicate depression from our society.
Thank you so much, Gilbert. We cannot exhaust everything, but we'll leave you to just comment or ask further questions. Myself, I need to see you so that you can do the depression test.
That's fine.
Yeah. But until then, Charlie, it's been nice having this conversation with you. And then I know there are subsequent conversations on mental. So stay with us as we take a sabbatical. We'll be right back. All right. Stay safe, guys.